Good day everyone, and welcome back to Padre's Motor Vlog. Well, we are at the pointy end of our time together in regards to our trip across Australia. I finished, but I thought it would be good to do a little bit of a debrief, so I've invited Lynn in to ask me a few questions, and hopefully you can get an idea of some of the things that maybe you missed in some of the videos, or maybe I didn't say. I didn't give you everything that I experienced, so this will be a good opportunity for you to hear a little bit more about the trip. So, debrief.
I have about 3 questions in this section.
Okay.
From the time you left until you arrived in Perth, how many days transpired?
Oh, I think total it was 23 days. Does that sound about right?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think I had a couple of, I think I had 3 rest days in there. But overall it was 3 weeks, 21 to 23 days on the road.
Yeah.
And that corresponds with the videos
Yeah.
that I did online.
Yeah. And how many kilometers did you travel?
I traveled approximately 5,800 kilometers. Normally it would be a lot less, but I travel all along the southern coast, so I kind of went the longest possible way down through the coast. Good thing that you asked that question before I go to gas mileage, because we are trying to raise money for Movember, and we're trying to raise $1 for every kilometer I traveled, so that's $5,800. I kind of started out as a goal $10,000, but
You were thinking of going there.
I was going there and back.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And what was the other question?
Yeah, how well did the scooter do on?
Yeah, so in my testing, I thought the scooter would get about 35 to 37 kilometers per liter. And I think it was because of all the wind that I experienced, it went down to about 31.8, which is still pretty good. 12-liter tank. I still got much, and I didn't even have to use my fuel bladder.
No. But it was good to have.
It's very, very good to have, for sure.
So last question here, wildlife. What did you see?
I saw lots of wildlife. The very beginning, I saw whales, very close in Kiama. And then I saw, when I left Eden, I saw an 18-point deer, which I didn't even think we had deer here. I saw, I think, 3 echidnas. I saw the tallest kangaroo that I think I've ever seen. He looked like he was 7 feet tall. I saw a few more kangaroos along the way. There was one field that I saw there was easily over 100 kangaroo in the field, which I've never seen that before. And then I saw some emu. I saw a papa and mama emu with some chicks, which was really, really nice. And birds, lots of birds. Matter of fact, if you give me one story, I'll tell you a story about a bird encounter. I was actually on the Great Ocean Road when I was with Richard, my friend from the Country Coffee Cruisers. And we were riding on the Great Ocean Road, and there was this big tree on the left-hand side of the road. And as he passed the tree, I'd say 20 king parrots just flew out of the tree, which was beautiful. All you could see was orange, but they flew directly at me. And they basically flew all around me as I was going 100 kilometers an hour. And I resisted the temptation to close my eyes, and as 2 of them flew past my visor, I noticed they were looking straight at me. It was as if they were flying by and looking at me and going, "Who is this strange creature?" So a few animal encounters, but thankfully I had a lot of people praying that I wouldn't hit any critters, and so that was a real answer to prayer, for sure. Let's continue some more questions.
Best coffee on this trip?
Best coffee on the trip was in Mount Gambier. I did have some good coffee. I had some really bad coffees.
On the whole trip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the best coffee was definitely in Mount Gambier. There's a little coffee shop called Presto. I had some good food there, but also they make their mochas with like a house-made chocolate, and it was really delicious. I went back for a second.
Wow, that's
next
great.
day.
That's great. Biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise, two things. Probably the wind. The wind was really strong. Most days it was really strong, so I battled the wind all the time. And then the other biggest surprise was just how sparse and how remote the South Coast roads are. Like, barring Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide, they were very, very populated. But other than that, a lot of the roads I was on, I would go for hours and not see, a handful of cars. So that worried me a bit as I was riding. Just knowing that, what if something happened? What if I crashed and went off the side of the road? No one would find me because there's literally no one around.
Thankful for?
Very thankful for finishing. There was a time right outside of Adelaide that I was kind of the point of no turning back. I was like, should I continue on? And so it was a mental battle, which I'll talk about the mental battle in our next video. But I was very thankful that I made it. No breakdowns, tires, no punctures, good fuel economy. Bluey did fantastic. Really thankful for all the people that supported me through this. Thankful for you for allowing me to do this. And then thankful that I had that time in Perth at the end, just to rest and be with you and the family.
Longest stretch?
So the longest ride was from Eucla to Norseman. That's about, I thought it was going to be about 7 hours, but it turned out to be about 8.5, which was a long day, and I was hurting at the end of that. But then the other thing on that same stretch was the longest straightaway, and that's about 90 miles straight ahead, 146 kilometers, and that was really tough. Just kind of did my head in being on a straightaway that long, because that takes a few hours to do. Okay, you got anything else for me?
Yeah, we're getting to the end.
Okay.
Impressions of the trip.
Yeah, the impressions of the trip, bucket list. I mean, it's something that I was really wanting to have an adventure before I get too old to have adventures, before my body kind of wears out. But it was a real big accomplishment, so the impressions of the trip were great. I got to meet some great people along the way. I was able to raise some money for men's mental health, which is great. I know I traveled 5,800 kilometers, so our goal is to raise some money for men's mental health and raise some awareness for that. And I was really thankful that we were able to video a lot of it, because I know in the beginning part of the reason why I wanted to do this trip was so people could follow along, and now we have 30 videos, albeit short videos, that people can actually watch and get an impression of what it would look like for them to travel across Australia and what it would entail. So, yeah.
Once you reached Perth, you needed to decide whether you were flying back or riding back.
Yeah, once I reached Perth, I had already made the decision that because of my body not coping well, the wind, I had already kind of decided that, I don't think I'll ride back. I think you and I talked about that. Once I got past the Nullarbor Plain, I couldn't imagine doing that again with the wind and the conditions. And so I just thought maybe it'd be best ride or to fly back and get Bluey brought back to Newcastle, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And so we're at home now.
Yeah.
So that's good. But my impressions of WA were beautiful, remote. It's a completely different landscape than the East Coast. The dirt's different, the plants are different, even the houses are different over there. So it is a different place, not different bad, different good. I mean, everything we saw and experienced over there together was really good. And spending time with you and the family and Katie's boyfriend Daniel and his family, that was all very
special.
Yeah, it was a very special time, and one that I felt was really good that it was part of the trip. It was part of the adventure. And so so thank you guys for coming along. There'll be more videos in the future. I don't think I'll ever do a ride that long. But certainly I do like recording and making sure that people can come along if they want on rides, and so I will continue to ride and document those. I know how to do it now, so I learned along the way, and was really appreciative of Ingrid and her just making time in her schedule to help me put some of those, all of those videos together. IE Socials, very easy to work with, and we would highly recommend them if you are doing anything like this. And I know she does photography and many other things in the social media area, so highly recommend Ingrid.
And you were just going to do one more tomorrow, one more last video.
Yeah, so tune in tomorrow. It should post on November 30th, and that will be just me, you, and the camera, and me just sharing a few things about men's mental health, a couple of things I learned along the way, and maybe you can learn too. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.